Welcome. In front of me I have the iPhone 16 and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this phone. Now, because this is a brand new OS release, it comes with a bunch of features that we know didn't have before, and some of them are actually really amazing. And I'm actually not gonna just sugarcoat it. I'm gonna start off with one that I find the best change that I have ever seen done on any kind of OS upgrade. For instance, like if you even consider Android and stuff like that, this is hands down the coolest change Apple has done, and that leaves my mouth with such a salt that it's unbearable, as I am an actual Android user on a daily basis, and I don't really like the closed-off approach of Apple. But this is honestly something that kind of goes outside of what Apple would traditionally do. So let's just get straight into that one. I'm going to open up the browser, because that's where we're going to utilize this option, and I'm going to navigate to, for instance, our website. I'm navigating here because it's a bit cluttered website with a lot of ads and a lot of garbage, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So I personally hate any kind of obstructions on the website. I'm on the web to see specific content, and I don't give a single shit about anything else outside of that. And anything that gets in my way is absolutely infuriating me. For instance, like the privacy and transparency. I genuinely despise this. And I despise it even more because it forces you to give away your rights to do anything. So you're forced to this crap, but Apple decided, no, you're not. And we're gonna click right here on this button, and then I'm gonna select hide distracting items. Cool. I'm gonna now select this. Poof! Tunnel snapped out of existence. Mind-blowingly amazing. I love this. And we don't need to finish here. I can scroll down. Now, because I did kind of just completely get rid of this, ads don't want to load right now. I think this is just kind of limitation to our website, the way it works, but there would be typically an ad here. Scroll down, there would be an ad right here. And there's also an ad right here that you can't see because it's white and it didn't load. But if I scroll down to text, you can see that it cuts out. That's because there's a garbage ass ad right here, the one that always stays on the bottom of your screen, basically preventing you from utilizing your full screen to its fullest potential just because some half-assed piece of developer decided that this is fine. Showing you an ad permanently on your view is the way we want to advertise. And I say, no, screw you. And I can just kind of go in here, hide distracting items, select that shit, and tunnel snap it out of existence. And it no longer shows up. So you can see now I can utilize the full display. Great, the way it's meant to be. Now, furthermore, the option is even better because if I were to leave this website and come back to it again, it will remember what I have gotten rid of. So if I get rid of all the ads, they will stay basically removed. They did get tunnel snapped, and there isn't no Tony Stark to bring it back. So yeah, pretty great option. Now, chances are that if websites do some kind of updates or Google decides to fork you with different ads, that this might bring them back. So that is something that might happen. I haven't tested it out extensively, but obviously, if you see that some of them come back, you just kind of need to go through it again. Ads get cycled through, and also the links to them as well. So they might come back at one point, unless Apple went out of their way to make it not so, which would be, like I said, great. Now, additionally, this feature doesn't end just here. So if you enter any kind of website that usually just tries to keep you on the website as long as possible with, for instance, clickbaity title and additionally just 5 paragraphs of bullshit followed by the 1 paragraph of the thing that you want, in between spliced with ads that look like part of the articles that you can't really differentiate from, so you start reading crap that you don't care about. There is another thing that you can utilize right here. So again, we're going to click on this button, and this time around we're going to select Show Reader, and it just gets rid of everything that isn't a text on the website. So it got rid of all the photos, all the links to different articles, all the ads, all the basically everything. And this is just showing the text on the website. And you can see there was a lot of scrolling down, but there isn't so much text here. So you can see how much of that was just pointless clutter. And this is a fantastic feature that you can utilize. Now, there's even, I think Microsoft is kind of doing their AI version of summarizing websites, which would obviously be even better than this, as if you're looking for specific info on a crappy clickbaity website, you can just enable that and it will just summarize probably the last paragraph, letting you know that, for instance, the show that you wanted to know when it gets released, the article will tell you, oh, there isn't actually any release after 5 paragraphs. So you could get that right away, which kills off websites, but if you have a shitty business model, you deserve to not exist. So yeah, that's my kind of approach to it, and it's a fantastic thing that I can also try to utilize. Now moving on to some more mediocre changes to the device that I can mess around with, that I still find very useful, at least to my needs. We're gonna go into the flashlight, so you can launch it quickly, and you have the option to change the brightness in here in the control center. Though I did kind of learn that the non-pro version of this device loses the ability to change the intensity of it. I think that's the best way to describe it. So on the Pro version, you can swipe from left to right, and this will change it from diffused light to more of a light beam. So obviously it would reach further, but cover a smaller area, while the diffused light just tries to have a better light coverage up close, but obviously falls off further. And just to kind of showcase this, I can bring up the Pro Max right here and enable this, and you can see, so here we have the diffused and the more of a spotlight, and then the brightness is still the same way you have it on here. Now let me turn that flashlight off. And sticking with the control center, there's also been some changes done to it as well. So now to edit the toggles in here, you don't need to navigate into the settings. You can just hold your finger the same way you would do on the home screen, and then select add controls. And you can add any kind of control you want from the list right here by just simply tapping on it. And then you can also change the sizes of them. Some of them might have a bit more info and options when you extend them. The one that I just picked really doesn't have anything useful. And you have also the option to swipe up, and this will take you to your music player and other toggles in here. So again, a little bit of options right here, and just a change. Might not be something that you're looking for, but still nice that did simplify, for instance, the editing process and adding toggles, as you no longer need to navigate into the settings, which I find to be a useful change. And moving on, now I'm going to talk about the dedicated new camera button. So number one, you can tap on it at any point, and this will launch the camera. I'm going to set it up later. And once you launch camera, you have a couple things that you can do with this button. So you can tap on it fully, which will basically up to the button press, which will capture a photo. So there was the photo. You can hold it, and as long as you're holding it, it will record a video. And the moment you let go, it automatically stops. Then you can slide it. So you can see it slides, and this is basically your zoom and what lens you will be using. I think, because I believe it switches from one lens to another depending on how zoomed in you are, but I could be wrong. So that's one thing that you can utilize. You do need to put a little bit of force on it till you feel the haptic feedback behind it. That's basically what actuates it, and then you can just simply swipe on this. You can also double press it. Now you don't want to double press it fully. This is just like the haptic feedback press. So as long as you feel the haptic feedback, it's before the actual button press. I'm just going to demonstrate it. You can see whenever you activate the haptic feedback, it has this kind of like expansion look to it. As you can see, whenever I activate it with the haptic feedback, it kind of does this kind of like subtle expansion. So anyway, let's double press it, and this gives us more options here. So here we have things like exposure, depth, zoom, cameras, styles, which is basically the filters, and tones. Now the filters right here is also a pretty neat option. So when you enable when you enable this, then you can swipe through different filters. So let's just select something like, let's go or luminous. Probably good enough. So I have a mouse right here, has a bit of colors, so blue and white. And before I start doing anything, you do have this new button right here in the corner. You can click on that, and at the bottom now you have this weird slider. And now you can, number one, change the exposure. Now this specific mode is already very exposed, so you can also change the color of it. So you can make it more or less saturated with the specific tones of whatever luminance is trying to be. So this one is just trying to be, by the looks of it, vibrant, and yeah, that's about it. Bright and vibrant. And taking a photo somewhere. You can see it is very kind of light, colorful, with this warm tone to it. So yeah, you can basically switch between those on whenever you want, which is a pretty nice option, and something that obviously didn't exist before. Now, continuing on, now I'm going to talk about the action button, which is this one right here. And now, before we used to have the slider, which would allow you to toggle it on for the silent mode. Nowadays, you can still do that by just holding it. As you can see, it enables silent with a nice haptic, strong feedback. So there we go. And you can now also navigate into the settings. Scrolling down, you'll find action button. And an action button, you can now change what it does. So that's pretty nice. Not like Apple to give you options to do things with the buttons that come with the device. And at this point, giving you the option is better than what Samsung does with their Bixby button. So anyway, we can just kind of start swiping through this to see what options we have. So we have the silent by default, then we have the focus mode, camera, which that one, let's be honest, is just absolutely useless as we do have a dedicated camera button anyway. We have a flashlight right here, along with voice memo, Shazam, which will be one of the useful ones, translate, magnifier, controls, shortcuts. This allows you to add any kind of application to quick launch using that button. Then we also have accessibility, and you can disable the button from being able to do anything. I personally like the Shazam option. That's what I'm going to select. And now when you hold the button, it launches Shazam. And as you can see, it's listening to music, trying to figure out what song you're trying to figure out what the name of it is. It won't find anything as there is no music playing, and my voice is the farthest thing from music that you will probably hear. So there we go. And moving on to the last option that I wanted to showcase would be the customization to the home screen. Now it's still far cry from what Android can do, and also even more insultingly what jailbroken iPhones can do, though the jailbreaking has been kind of killed off at this point. But anyway, we're gonna hold our finger on empty space, icons start jiggling, and now you can select edit at the top and customize. And this allows you to, for instance, switch from a light to dark mode to automatic and tinted. Tinted is basically the best thing to customization that you will get on iPhone, at least at this moment. And you can change the color that you want to utilize right here, vibrancy of it. You can also change the icon size from small to large, depending on how you like it. Now with large one, you can also see that it gets rid of the names of them. And there we go. So pretty neat option to utilize. But with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.